Nope, nope. Sorry, people. Nothing to see here. We're moving on to the next plane already. That's last month's stuff. Okay. We got they wrote murder mystery. That's a plane now. We're going to murder mystery, everyone. Come on. What's up, Planeswalkers? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome back, and for today's deck, we'll be teaching our opponents some HuMILLity. So today's commander is Shorikai, Genesis Engine, and Azorius in 2 colorless 8/8 vehicle. But none of that is important. What is important is that for 1 mana, we can draw 2 cards and then discard a card, and create a 1/1 colorless pilot creature token. While there are many ways to break this card, today I wanted to do something interesting. Let's make a commander deck with no creatures. Needless to say, this deck list I've cooked up is very control heavy, and the price is enough to warrant a trip to Staples. The plan is simple: control the board with board wipes and other things, then slowly mill out the table to maximize suffering. Now before I get started, if you have a commander you want covered in its own video, leave a comment or join our channel Discord. Starting things off light, we have Planeswalkers. Narset, Parter of Veils for the static ability of shutting down extra card draw, and the downtick is really good seeing as there are no creatures to get in our way. Teferi, Time Raveler, to slow things down and give us some card draw and make interaction with us impossible. And Teferi, who slows the sunset, so we can untap Shorikai for extra cards, and the ultimate is very useful for us. Now for the meat of the deck, the spells. First we have Brainstorm because we have cards that care about us drawing cards, and also it gets better with the shuffle effects that we're playing in the Manabase. Enlightened Tutor is important for us because the majority of our win cons are enchantments, and some of our powerful hate pieces are as well. Mystical Tutor, which helps us grab a board wipe or approach for some easy wins. Path to Exile and Swords to Plowshare as some premium creature removal. Preordain for more card draw. Swan Song is a cheap counter for opponent spells. Visions of Beyond, as our game plan is to mill our opponents and we get some extra cards if we do so. Just keep in mind though, there are some nombos in the deck, so be aware of that when you play this card. Counterspell to, well, counter a spell. Dovin's Veto is a negate that can't be countered. Maddening Cacophony, which we'll want to kick to get maximum value out of this card. Mana Drain for a counter that gains us some colorless mana that we can use for one of our many artifacts. Muddle the Mixture is a very good card, as most of our answers or hate pieces are 2 mana, and this card can be used to get those cards, and it can counter a spell if we needed to. Narset's Reversal is a combo piece in the deck, but worst case you could steal a Cultivate with it. Permission Denied is a brutal negate that basically comes with a silence for non-creature spells. Reality Shift for some non-white exile removal, and the drawback on this card is very light. Fabricate to find more combo pieces. Fierce Guardianship for more protection if we have to tap out to play our commander. Idyllic Tutor to add some consistency to our deck when it comes to enchantment win cons. Render Silent is another hardcore counter. It silences the player that got countered. Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which depending on the deck you're playing against, this can absolutely be backbreaking. Word of Invention is another artifact tutor that puts the card on the battlefield. Return to Dust is a good artifact or enchantment removal. Supreme Verdict for an uncounterable board wipe. Wrath of God for another board wipe, and Sunfall for an exile board wipe. Farewell is our get out of jail free card. It board wipes just about everything except Planeswalkers. Approach to the Second Sun is our alt win con, and Seagate Restoration for lots of cards or a land if we need it. Commit to Memory for some wheel action or removal. It gets a lot better too with Narset on the battlefield. For our artifacts and enchantments, I'm starting off with the ramp. First we have Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Azorius Signet, then Marble Diamond, Sky Diamond, Talisman of Progress. Midnight Clock, which has a bonus of shuffling our library in and giving us a new hand. Misleading Signpost is another pet card. It's a mana rock, but it has flash, and we can redirect an attacking creature for some fun. For everything else, we have Sensei's Divining Top for top of the library manipulation, Folio of Fancies for some mill, and Group Hug depending on what you fancy. Mr. Grimoire for some extra cards early, and as the power levels of decks you play against go up, this card gets better. Torpor Orb because Blink decks deserve to burn, and this card hits Disruption like Rex Sage or Lauren of the Third Path. Cloud Key for some combo or good discount if we need it. Blind Obedience to slow down any haste attacks our opponents have, and the Exploit is a good source of life. Sculpting Steel to copy some of the better artifacts, or our opponent's artifacts for that matter. Helm of Obedience is one of our combo piece win cons, something that Word of Invention should be going for. Mystic's Forge is another combo piece, but worst case we can manipulate it to just make sure that we're not drawing too many lands. Counterbalance because you can never counter enough spells, and with the top of the library manipulation that we have in this deck, this card gets a lot better. The One Ring because we love cards, and the Free Fog is a nice bonus, plus with cards like Unwinding Clock we get a lot of mileage out of this card since we can untap our artifacts a bunch. Rest in Peace is part of our instant death combo, otherwise we play this card just to make sure that whatever we milled doesn't gonna come back. Keening Stone for more mill action that gets better with Unwinding Clock. Memory Erosion for some mill that hurts Storm decks. Propaganda for some incentives not to attack us. Psychic Corrosion for mill when we draw cards. Heuristic Study to help us draw those cards. And Finks' Tutelage and Teferi's Tutelage for more mill that triggers when we draw. HuMILLity for the namesake of the deck, and it's a big part of the reason why we're not playing creatures. HuMILLity will flat out shut off a lot of different decks that rely solely on creatures. That said, make sure you have a way to protect it when you play it. Finally, a Smothering Tithe because we love slowing down our opponents, or if we don't, we get extra mana. For the Manabase, follow your heart, or better yet, follow your budget, but if you'd like to copy a Manabase, then help yourself to the Manabase found in the deck list in the description of this video. My land recommendation for this deck is Otawara, Soaring City, as it can save us from our own One Ring or be used as an uncounterable bounce. For the combo section of this deck, I'll be showing off one of the combos featured in the deck, the rest are for you to find. For this combo, we'll need Helm of Obedience and Rest in Peace. With both cards on the battlefield, you'll activate Helm of Obedience by paying 1 and tapping it, causing target player to mill a card until a creature card is put into their graveyard this way. However, any cards put in the graveyard by Helm of Obedience are exiled since we have Rest in Peace, so they never meet their criteria to stop the effect of milling, and basically it'll exile their entire deck. That's going to be all for today's video. Let me know how I did or tell me about your favorite counterspell in the comments below. Subscribe or join to support the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.